What is going on? It is halftime, Monday Night Football. Jets leading the Patriots 20-10. This is one of the dumbest football games I've watched in a while. I can't handle what's happening with Belichick's Patriots. But that's not what this is about. It's halftime, and thanks to our friends at Tullamore Dew, it is officially Tully time. Thanks to Tullamore Dew Irish whiskey. It's delicious, and I encourage you to stay tuned because I'm going to be mixing up a delicious Tullamore Dew cocktail momentarily with our friend Jillian, courtesy of Tullamore Dew. But first, guest starring in tonight's halftime, making it Tully time with Nordo. Not only Teddy in the background, but the Vox in the foreground. What's up, PA?
Looking at ProFootballReference.com to try to find the worst New England Patriots team in the history of said franchise. I'm back to like the fourth year of the Boston Patriots. But to watch this team legitimately be worse than the New York Jets, not even with its starting quarterback, not even with its first round left tackle, and so on and so on. Wow, is this eye-opening.
It is, and the one stat I was looking at coming into this, I couldn't believe it until Cam Newton rushed in that TD in the first quarter. That is the first touchdown that the Patriots have achieved in the first quarter of a game in 2020, and I believe they're in game 8. That's the state of an offense with no identity. It's the state of a defense with half the players opting out. And, you know, Belichick used to being on the other side of these sorts of situations. I can't tell at this point whether he's found finality, a topic and a thing that we've talked about as Vikings fans a few weeks ago, or if he's still trying to put the best possible product with what he's got out there.
If he had a conversation with the owner and is like, remember all those rings and all those memories and just everything that we've done for as long as we've done it, don't be upset when we don't win another game the rest of the year. Just don't, because you got kids A, B, C, and D. We're working on this. We're going to make some changes, and we're going to get a good draft pick. So with Bill, if there is a covert long play, who's going to be surprised?
Well, back, regarding the purple and gold, and we kind of started it this morning, right? Happy feelings in the air.
What are you doing with all those lemons making up the Lions front seven?
Well,
if you organize those lemons, like go ahead and put that one right there. Okay, that's Danny Shelton. Now that right there is Everson Griffin. Now if you spin it, that's the spin move he used to have. Then over there on the other side, you can just go put some overmatched defensive end, put the Tullamore bottle in the middle, and that is the best middle linebacker the Detroit Lions have had in 50 years. Wow. I mean, you see, into this, I'm obsessed with this Bears game right now, and you being next to me, specifically off the air more so than on the air. I mean, saying like I'm obsessed with this whole thing, calling road games off TVs and, not traveling and 99 problems and everything. I mean, it's 2020 is a business year, and you do the best you can. You get through it. You have fun. You root for your friends. Hopefully everybody's happy. But so they kind of sucked me in a little bit on that in that Seattle game. Didn't lose me in the Atlanta game because it was such a bastard game. And then out of the bye with Dalvin and now the defense, yeah, I'm in. And you know what? If they go to Soldier Field and they run for 180, 200, 205 and win, they are going to the playoffs. Now, man, getting deep into these stats, the plan early for the sneak peek at next week, the Vikings run on average the fewest plays of any team in the NFL at 57. They are number one with the yards per attempt rushing, but they're last with passing attempts. So I'm not going to say all that's gold is not glittering. It's a big one this weekend, man. I ain't kidding you. Vikings are favored in this game. If I'm in Vegas, I don't make the Vikings favored in this game. They've won 4 times since 2000 at Soldier Field. And weird bleep happens, as we will start sharing tomorrow 9 to noon and 9 a.m. I mean, they shouldn't be favored. That's the end of the story. I don't care what Dalvin's doing. The Bears played the Saints into overtime. See them last night. And they just held Tennessee to 230 yards of offense. Wrong team's favored. Vikings can win, but the wrong team is favored.
Yeah, Jets, Jets. And, the key with this team with Dalvin is in the 3 games, you can kind of cancel 1 or 2 of those out. You think about how weird last year's game was, 2018, kind of the run mix with John DeFilippo, trying to get it done there. But ultimately, as bad as that offense is, a large part of 9 to noon today, the concept was Zimmer changing the way he does things. You said it as old dog potentially learning a new trick to protect these kids he's got in the secondary. Them stopping Nick Foles in this weird anemic offense that now has David Montgomery in the concussion protocol, that's not my biggest worry. My biggest worry is I want to see our big dog Dalvin get loose against a defensive front that is still as good as ever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, this is why I'm so excited about it from 3 and 5, because even if they win, there have been times this year where honestly, if they lose any game at any time, who's going to be surprised? But the thing in putting a lot of time into the Bears today, into that Titans game, because Tennessee's better than Chicago. Now, the Bears were down 3 offensive linemen in that game, man. They got their right tackle, Bobby Massey, IR. They got a guard, James Daniels, the Iowa kid, IR. Cody Whitehair got bit, so he couldn't play. So they're using a center nobody's ever heard of, yet they still found a way to keep that thing close. I mean, no fans at Soldier Field for Cousins, that's massive. And now in having watched back the entire Vikings first half mostly from an all-22 standpoint, I mean, if you protect Cousins, that play action is now lethal. It now has gone from, okay, it's cool, let's see how much we can trust Kirk, to they're going to be open all over the field if you get them at the right time. All of that because of Dalvin. Man, it's a lot of fun.
I don't know if you were watching the first half of this Jets game in detail or play-by-play as I was leading into this.
Yep.
Kind of went down memory lane. So we joked about how Danny Isidora, who couldn't figure out how to get into the mix with this offensive line, which has had myriad opportunities and openings for people that want work over the course of time. He's now with the Chiefs. That's really weird. Yeah. A guy that I remember being touted as the next Danielle Hunter potentially, just from a physical stat standpoint.
Yeah.
A guy by the name of Tashawn Bauer, a fellow Louisiana State University Tiger alum. Right. I saw him whiff on a TFL in the first half. He's now with Belichick. So you want to talk about long play. What if practice squad Tashawn Bauer is his new Trey Flowers in 2021? Only in a pandemic and a weird purge environment could you make something like that come true.
How excited is Lions coach Matt Patricia right now, just hoping he keeps his job so he can sign all these Patriot L's in the offseason? I mean, he's got these guys running around marking down notes going, is it TASHUAN, Mr. Quinn? That's how they operate, man. But I can't I can't believe what I'm seeing with these New England Patriots. But they played Buffalo pretty well, and they played Kansas City pretty well. This is a bad one, man. But you know what? I got a lot of respect for the Patriots and all the equity and the titles. And isn't it interesting how you got tribulation and you have tumult, and Brady leaves and tribulation with that Tampa Bay team trying to play fantasy football. That's an awful, awful loss, and one from which I don't believe they will recover. They will make the playoffs. They ain't going to the Super Bowl, mark my words. Too much flash and glitz, not enough fist. And then over here, you got tribulation here, you got tumult here, Belichick. Guys can't get out of their own way without Tom Brady, about ready to lose to the Jets.
Yeah, I think, one thing, if we want to get into it and there's time tomorrow, you look at specifically with the NFC, who's elite right now? I mean, I get it. Russ is elite and this, but I think there's a way to long form it when you start looking at the holes in each of these organizations where the offense works here, but the defense is sketchy. Defense is stout here, but they can't score points to save their lives. The NFC it doesn't have that obvious top dog that it typically does one way or another, which makes for Vikings fans, when you have a nasty 1-5 record and you're contemplating already a draft in April and all of those things, I think now with a couple of wins under your belt, an opportunity to win at Chicago, you can kind of start doing some dream weaving, looking at a weaker schedule and kind of get excited about it.
Well, the thing with the NFC, it's not looking like anybody is impenetrable. Where in the AFC, I mean, I don't want to play Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. Who does? Now, Baltimore is going to be tough. Who wants to play Pittsburgh? I don't want to play Pittsburgh. So you got Pittsburgh and Kansas City way up here. NFC, man, they're just not as good as those teams. And I think that was typified kind of too by Seattle going out to Buffalo and just absolutely getting drilled. I mean, the difference between losing and losing the way they did when Jamal Adams came back, that's bad, man. But back to Brady and Belichick. I mean, honestly, metaphorically speaking, it's like a football version of a divorce. But in this divorce, with the way things are going, the man Belichick is broke because of the maintenance. And the wife, Brady, he is just constantly aggravated and throwing his helmet and always mad and can't get out of his own way. Nobody can appreciate their freedom. Just appreciate it.
Yeah. No, Belichick kept the house, but he doesn't have much furniture left. There's no doubt about that. Thanks for hanging out with me on a Monday night, my friend.
Conversations with Nordo. I'm here anytime you want. Thank you very much, Tullamore. We got Tully time right here. Dog's gone. No Teddy time behind me anymore. But Jets, Jets.
Hell yeah. See you later, PA. That's Paul Allen, of course, my 9 to noon cohort, KFAN 100.3 FM, The Fan. But joining me now, one of my newest favorites people, Jillian Murphy from Tullamore Dew. How you doing, Jillian?
I'm great. How are you today?
I'm doing well. So last week we did this, and I was so jealous of your setup as I'm just sitting in my basement. I kind of had to up my game a little bit.
You have really changed things up this week. I'm impressed.
Yeah, this isn't even my kitchen. I just asked somebody if I could come over for a half hour.
So I take it you're going to lead the cocktail segment for us today.
Well, the first thing I'm thinking is, what's the weather like in Ireland?
It's pretty dull at the moment. So we've kind of got low 50s, lots of rain as usual. But it's been great. I'm here in Chicago, and we've had 75 all week. It's been lovely.
Well, we were at 72 yesterday, and we are at 37 with some rain today. And that's just how it operates up here. But do you think, given your expertise, that there is a correlation between cold, dreary weather and really loving Irish whiskey? You think there's anything to that?
Well, you got to ask yourself, why do you think that the best whiskies in the world come from Ireland? And it's likely because we've got that miserable, meek weather, and we need something to help us out.
Hey, can I ask you a question that I've always wanted to know?
Sure.
What does dew mean? So I know Tullamore is an area in Ireland. I get that. But what is dew?
Well, I'm glad you asked, because a lot of people think that it's the dew in the grass in the morning, and it's actually not. It's the initials of one of our founding fathers, Daniel E. Williams.
Okay, well, what does E mean? What is the E then?
E stands for Edmund, his middle name.
Edmund?
Edmund.
Let me look this up here. So Edmund, why don't they do D. Edmund Williams? Can you float this by the Tullamore people? The reason I ask this, Edmund is a very prestigious, regal name. Like, I know a lot of Dans. I work with a couple of Dans. They're nothing special. But Edmund promotes, like, power and prosperity. Like, I feel like it should be Tullamore Dew thanks to D. Edmund Williams. So it's just a critique.
We'd probably have to change a few adverts and posters around, but I'll see what we can do just for you.
Yeah, 2020 is a weird year. I was just thinking about it. So what are you making tonight? And then I'm going to make a drink.
So I'm planning to make a Gold Rush, which is a really simple pantry cocktail, which anybody at home can make. What have you got for me?
I'm making a Tully and tonic.
Oh, do you want me to kick things off with the Gold Rush?
Yes, you do the Gold Rush, and as you're doing that, I'm going to I'll wait for you and then I'll make mine.
Okay, perfect. So this is a really, really easy one, and I bet you everyone watching has these ingredients at home. Firstly, I'm going to get 2 ounces of our Tullamore Dew Original right into a shaker filled with ice. And I think I mentioned to you last week, if you don't have a shaker at home, you can just use anything with a lid. It's nothing fancy. Then I'm going to do 3/4 of a part of honey syrup, which is literally honey and warm water mixed together. So although it sounds fancy, it is not fancy at all. And then I see you've got lots of lemons in front of you, so you could probably make this one with me too. I'm going to do about 3/4 of a part of freshly squeezed lemon juice, because fresh is always best when we're making cocktails, as you know. Into the shaker it goes. And then my favorite part, I'm going to get really loud and shake this off. Ready?
Okay.
All right. And we're going to strain it into our little glass. And then the utmost secret of cocktail making, right, is to always put on a fancy garnish to impress your friends. And then they're going to think that you know what you're doing and you're an expert drinks maker, you belong behind the bar. So I've just taken some lemon peel and I've literally just like twisted it up like that. And I'm going to rest it on the side of my glass and I look like a pro.
Oh, that is fantastic. So that's a gold rush. That's what it is?
That's it, gold rush. Because I hear that you guys are going for gold next week against the Bears here in Chicago.
Yeah, so you're in Chicago. I don't know, how familiar are you with the Bears and such? How prominent? Because it's a weird year, right? So, a lot of things buzz-wise, it's way down. But for the Vikings, I mean, as a divisional matchup, this is massive for us. What do you know about, the Vikings and the Bears?
Well, I know you've got a challenge ahead of you guys next week here in Chicago, but I'm rooting for you guys. So I did go out and get a Vikings hat.
Oh, thank you. Look at that.
Got to root for you because I'm only doing this with you, Nordo. I know that the Vikings have only won in Chicago 3 times in the last 20 seasons. So, and you guys lost your last 4 games straight against the Bears. But I know that Dalvin Cook is also on fire this season. He's killing it. But he's had his worst games against the Bears. So, here's to hoping. You've got a tough defense against you, but I'm rooting for you guys.
Okay. Well, I and the Vikings fan base now need a collective drink to that. So here's what I'm going to do, okay? I am going to make a Tully and tonic. Very excited to do so. Welcome to my kitchen. Sharp knife. I shouldn't be near it. Okay? Let me see here. So what you need to make...
What are you doing? You know you're not supposed to leave the basement after 8.
I'm almost done.
Hurry up.
Okay. Mr. Nordquist, everything's fine. 2 parts, Tullamore Dew.
Nice, healthy pour. I like it. Well done.
Okay.
Very good. Straight in the glass. I like your measurement skills there. Going well.
Okay. So we do that. Now, one of the coolest gifts, if you don't know anything about somebody, it's like an obscure cousin, an aunt, or an uncle, get them an ice bucket.
They're very handy to have in the home. I agree.
Full disclosure, my ice machine is about 4 feet to my right. But all the same, the feeder of Facebook Live is with us live and well. All right, so I have 4 parts of tonic water in here. Won't need it all.
Very good.
Closer to 3.
And I'm glad that you chose to do this drink because Tullamore Dew and tonic water is one of my favorites and it's so underrated. People never think to pair it with tonic and it tastes great.
It's absolutely fantastic. All right, almost done. Again, the simplicity. I like to do a little half squeeze with my orange slice into the drink.
Amazing.
I drop it in.
Cheers, Sláinte.
There we go.
There we go. Well, will I lead us out with a little toast? Because I know last week that you had lots of toast, so I brought one this week. So we can.
Yeah, perfect.
So we'll say there are tall ships and small ships and ships that sail the sea, but the best ships are friendships and friends will always be. So Sláinte, cheers and best of luck next week.
Cheers. Where do we find you, Jillian? Where do we find Tullamore? TullamoreDew.com, correct?
Exactly. You can find a whole host of cocktail recipes, drinks, different variants, all on TullamoreDew.com.
Tullamore Dew. Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey. That's Jillian Murphy. I'm Nordo. Big thanks to PA. Follow Tullamore Dew at Tullamore Dew via Twitter. And of course, Monday nights at halftime becomes Tully time. Thank you so much, Tullamore, Jillian, PA. Enjoy the second half. Again, Jets, 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 Jets. Go Vikings, beat the Bears. Have a great night, everybody.